Good evening. Welcome to part 3 of the exciting journey to learning about servant leadership. And my heart is full after listening to the first 2 parts. And I can hardly wait to, ladies and gentlemen, introduce you once more to our special guest speaker. She's a lady who has come from the different multinational global corporations, and she now heads her own company, her own consultancy, and is serving the Serviam, which is really very community focused and directly applying what she has been teaching and sharing about servant leadership. So let us welcome her once more, all Leaders Ed's viewers, Grace Decena on part 3 of servant leadership.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be back. Parang good, better, best. Good, good. It's really great to be back. And yes, this is part 3. And I'm happy to share with you the last portion of the characteristics of servant leadership. And we can also start talking about, some of the practical, the realities of how we can apply them. And so on the 9th characteristic, I'd like to again quote Robert Greenleaf, who stated that a servant leader should be focused on the following. Ask yourself these questions. Do those served, or are those you've served, did they grow as persons? Another question is, do they, while being served, become healthier, wiser, freer, more autonomous, more empowered, and more likely to become servants or servant leaders too? Because when leaders shift their mindset and put their mindset to serve first, they actually reap the benefits whereby their people acquire personal growth, while the organization or the community itself also grows because of the growing commitment and the engagement of each and every individual that's part of that organization or of that community. Because servant leaders seek to involve others, especially when making decisions. It's so easy for an authoritarian leader to just say, no, this is how I want it. I've made my decision. You just go ahead and execute. But a servant leader seeks to involve others in decision making because it is strongly based on ethical and caring behavior. And it enhances, of course, the growth of the team, the growth of the workers, while improving the caring and quality of organizational life. And we have to be differentiators. We have to make a difference, even in a small way. And the differentiator of servant leaders can be seen in their homes, in their families, in the workplace, in their community.
Grace, by the way, do you have particular videos or website or upcoming trainings that you want to share with us, that you want to show or talk about before we end this part 3, for people to continue to learn some more about this particular, really, because honestly, Grace, it has come at just the right time, because people are flailing around, where can I go to for help? It seems to me that really our government has reached their capacity and is actually now asking for help from the private sector and NGOs, and your your trainings and your Serviam community group is here just when they are best needed. So let us know, Grace, how can people get more involved?
Dana, we're on YouTube. Our community is on YouTube, and there are recordings of our past speakers during
Oh,
the Servant Leadership conferences.
I see. What
But
is the name of the channel in YouTube?
they can just Google Servium CCC,
Oh, okay.
and everything would come out. But of course, we also have our books. Our books. You can say it's still kind of old school because it's a hardbound book, but sometimes we have to train our leaders to go back to reading and not just be going online, but we are also targeting to have this available on ebooks,
So,
the
okay.
books
So,
of servant leadership.
yeah. So if we want to know more and share more about this particular
I would
great
still I would
go
still tell
yeah,
them to go to the website of
website,
Robert Greenleaf.
go to the website of Robert Greenleaf. And what
He
is the
has a
title?
lot.
Okay.
Donna, he really has a lot. And there are videos and a white paper that everybody can go to, but he also he has courses or programs where one gets certified as a servant leader.
Oh,
So
all right.
those are the things that I can immediately think of. But of course, I have to also tell our audience that it's right there. Our books are right there at the National Bookstore. We're on YouTube. You can Google us and go to the website of Servium CCC or Servium Foundation.
All
And
right.
we have some videos that are also available.
Yeah, that helps. Yes, yes. So for us to remember it by, yes. Thank you.
Yes.
And Grace,
Okay.
please continue. I can see that you have a few more slides,
A
please.
few more. And the last characteristic after grow, 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 which is the 9, and I talked about that. I think I missed out on the slide for that. But anyway, is to build community. Under servant leadership, a servant leader should be able to bring people to come together for a common purpose. They are able to create a feeling of belonging to something bigger than each individual and foster team spirit and what I would call the sense of community, the sense of belonging. Like, you can be a servant leader in the subdivision or in the village where you are. You can be part of the council or the leaders for the association leaders and be a servant leader and influence everybody, with the practices of building community, being compassionate, listening, being empathetic. Because servant leaders deeply care for the community where they belong, the community or the team that they create. And that is really also my wish, Dinah, for your company, for your group, for your team, and also for PMAP. Do you know that I think past President Noli Payos used to write a lot about servant leadership in the People magazine.
Yes, I remember that because
Remember that?
No,
Yeah.
he is a prolific writer, and I do respect his views, his thoughts. And yes, I do remember him mentioning that. I'm so glad. Oh my gosh, it's like attending the program. So thank you so much. Please
Thank
continue.
you too. And so building community, and I know that I have talked a lot about Serviam, and look at our motto. And I'm happy to share it with you. Our motto is each and every member, we're there. We live to serve. In fact, we're running a webinar by January, Dinah, and this is part of servant leadership. I've talked about and I've shared slides on lead humbly. Our topic for January is the joy of humility, the joy of being a humble servant leader.
Yes.
So that's sometime in January. And so those are the 10 characteristics: listening, being empathetic, compassionate, or lending a hand, a very strong sense of awareness of self and awareness of others, persuasiveness, big thinking, dreaming big, foresight, looking ahead, being a steward, accountable for what you have been given. And of course, I spoke also the characteristic of grow, 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 build your team, build people, and that you build community. But at the end of it, as I've said, these 10 characteristics are not exhaustive, but they serve to communicate the power and the promise that this concept offers. But it has to start from you being open to the invitation and the challenge, being open to answer the call of servant leadership.
Of course, Grace, psychologically speaking and looking at human nature. Oh my gosh, I love this. I'll just say a few things about the last thing that you mentioned, humility. It is for me, one of the greatest, what we call hurdles for business leaders to overcome, because human nature dictates that we are really quite selfish and we look after our own interests. And so to be humble is really not to stop looking only at yourself, but start looking at others. I know. So it is doubly difficult for those who have been brought up that way by their parents, their grandparents. And it's just handed down from generation to generation that, you're the leader, so you're the boss. Anything you say goes.
Dinah, totally agree. I come from a family, as you said, I was born and raised in Baguio. I went to St. Theresa's Baguio for 12 years. And you know how the nuns shape you. They push you to be competitive, both in the academics, in arts, in sciences, everything, in communication, and that you have to be different. You have to stand up with excellence. And because of the things that you achieve in life or how you were brought up, as what you said, humility is a long journey. And I've been there, but I think I was just blessed that the values that the school, my parents, my family, and then my community, all these values woven into one, has really helped me hurdle, the temptation out there of being proud of your achievements. Yes, you take pride, but was it really yours? It was given to you. Those achievements were given to you. And that's when I said that as a leader, you have to look at your inner game. Focus on yourself, the self-awareness as a servant leader, because you cannot give what you do not have. You cannot grow others if you do not grow yourself. Just like what you always keep on saying at the end of the show, learning. Learning, it's vital. You learn every day. And Father Anton also taught us, you learn new things, You relearn old things that you've learned before and that still works now, but you also unlearn things that you have learned before. So it's learn, unlearn, relearn. That's a whole cycle. And it also takes a lot of humility to say, I'm relearning. Or, some of us would say, wow, we have so many years behind us, so many years of experience. But every day is a learning journey, right?
Indeed,
So
indeed. And I am also really keenly interested in Muhammad Ali's, quote here that I see. And I presume this is your last slide.
it is. And it says that let us all grow together. It's
Yes,
not, it is only when we remove the pebbles in our shoe. Di ba, pag if you have a pebble in your shoe, no matter how small it is, it's painful. It's painful. So you'll have to stop to take out the pebble in your shoe. But it is only when we remove the pebble in our shoe that we can move faster, we can leap higher, and we can serve better.
yes. And thank you again, Grace. Oh my gosh, this is, oh, I am so touched. Servant of all, Mark, yeah, from Mark chapter 10, verse 43. Yes, this is something to remember. And thank you so much again, Grace. I really cannot tell you how very touched I am with your generous sharing. And yes, indeed, thank you from our hearts and virtual hug to you.
I
And
know. Thank you.
indeed. So I really look forward to us interacting once more face to face.
So
Just yes.
yeah, let's pray that it's gonna be soon.
By the way, this will be aired on YouTube and the Speakers Bureau Academy next week. And this will be aired 3 times: Wednesday, then Friday, and Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m. So watch out for that because, of course, I'll be sending you the link for our
Yes.
YouTube channel as well. Yes. So
So I can send it also to our leaders
yes,
and yeah.
please, because they should know what a strong advocate you have and what a great influence you are. And so I am so happy that we decided to also have this in YouTube because it's not just the Philippines needing this, it's the world. And the world also really
I
needs
know.
to.
I know.
Yes. So thank you again. And by next episode, this is the last episode of season 2, we will be listening to Robert Walker
Yes.
talk about breakthrough projects, and Dino will be our host. And remember, always remember that learning is a never-ending journey with limitless vistas, just as we have experienced tonight with Grace Decena.